Good evening, I am Lukman Haris and this is Market Talk. The company we are interviewing today was started by two brothers in 1996 who had little more than a dream to connect the world. By 2003, the company had become the leading networking company in the country in which it was founded, China. And by 2005, it had begun its aggressive expansion internationally, reaching 132 countries by that period. 7 years later, it hit over $1 billion in sales for the first time. The company is TP-Link, which has grown from the dream of two brothers with a network card they developed to the world's #1 Wi-Fi supplier today. You and I may know TP-Link as the manufacturer of network and internet equipment like routers and modems often seen here in Malaysia. But the company is evolving and pivoting with the fast-changing digital world. Last year, it marked its first entry into the fiercely competitive world of smartphones with its own lineup of smartphones it calls the Nefos. And joining me on the show today is Hugo Chai, TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director. Hugo, welcome to Market Talk.
There we go.
First of all, it has come a long way since 1996, 20 years, and in Malaysia, 10 years. Share with us how the journey has been for you in this country.
Yes, around 10 years ago, we come to Malaysia, and last year we celebrate our 10 years anniversary, and that means this is 11 years for our journeys in Malaysia. Firstly we do the business here, and when 2013 we opened our branch office here, and then we keep on growing here, and this a few years we already also partner with some of our bigger partners and some of the telco in Malaysia. And last year's up to date, compared to the last years, we get a more incrementals in the sales, around 100%. That means we get around almost double sales compared to the last years. And coming to the next years, right now we are planning for the 2018 plans. So I hope that our company we have the chance to working with keep more service to our audience in Malaysia.
You've championed the wireless and telecommunications and also networking, so to say, industry in China and also a bunch of other countries. You've been in over 100 countries. When you came to Malaysia, what was your first thought about the networking industry here in Malaysia compared to other countries such as China?
Actually, when I first come to Malaysia, we saw the great opportunities here because at that time the Wi-Fi devices, Wi-Fi is a basic function for everyone, you know. So at this moment, we saw the great opportunity, and even though we start very little, we gradually and learn and gradually give us a better service to our local audience, and gradually we can grow stronger here.
You mentioned that you're formulating the 2018 plan for TP-Link in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Can you give us some insights about what to expect next year?
We have one vision for TP-Links in Malaysia. We want to bring the whole ecosystem to everybody's house. That means there will be 3 parts for the products. One is gateway. Right now we are doing to give a faster internet for everyone. The second one is the IoT. IoT, that means when you're going home, so you can use your phone or products that can connect everything together. That give you what we call the smart life here, a better or more experienced life. And the thirdly will become Nefos. It will be the gateway. It will be the entrance for the products. That means that when you go home, you use the entrance to control all your products together. So there's a vision for this. Based on this reason for this, we will have 3 plans. One, continue to give a better service on the internet. Secondly, bring the new products on IoT to everybody's house. Thirdly, we will continue to invest on the smartphone business to let everybody know our entrance here.
We'll talk more about Internet of Things and smart homes later on in the show, but it's interesting that you mentioned the concept of how you're pivoting towards that from your traditional legacy business. And we've seen this with a lot of technology companies, you know, the likes of IBM, whom we've interviewed on this show, moving on from being the big iron to other aspects of the industry to adapt to the fast-changing world. So do you think when you change your priorities, it will somewhat cannibalize or affect your traditional and legacy businesses of providing, you know, traditional modems and routers? Will that happen?
Actually, we will continue for our basic business. We will still focus on this part because we need to based on this, and then we can invest in the new business. And then this is a whole ecosystem. That means it will not affect, or it will not only survive when you only focus on one part. So we need to bring it together to everybody's house. So smartphone, IoT, and right now our strong point on the routers, what we call a gateway. These are three things must be all connected, and then to offer a better service. So right now, even though we partner with some of the partners, we are working with TM, and we giving a better service on the faster internet. And coming next, we also will partner with TM and the other telcos to work together to give a better service on IoT and even the smartphone.
Obviously, apart from the infrastructure, things like Internet of Things, IoT, and also smart homes require a lot of R&D because companies are constantly breaking new grounds, tech companies I mean. So how much are you focusing or even spending on R&D apart from just building the infrastructure?
Because doing a business in Malaysia, we need to have two parts. We not only just give it the hardware, we need to give a better user experience. Because right now we want to design the more user-friendly product for everyone to try. Right now we are offering the products, the IoT product to our local audience. Is we will customize for some of the function for let people to know or easier to use the product.
All right, I want to go back to your so-called traditional or legacy businesses, which is routers and modems and internet connectivity in general. There's been renewed concerns on security surrounding internet connections around the world. I mean, over in the US, you even have allegations of election hacking. So hackers have taken on a new prominent image on the international stage. So you being a global leader in manufacturing internet connectivity equipment, do you need to take new steps in light of this whole new level of threat that we're facing?
Yeah, definitely.
What are you doing in that sense?
Actually, so we are right now we are designing, or our R&D are designing a new smart routers. This one smart router will come with our antivirus inside. That means that you got the protection when you're using the routers. Right now we also have bundled with some of the brand, some of our bigger partners, or to working on this part to make sure that all the device is safe enough for everybody's use. And right now our latest routers, it already come with the protection inside, and then our users will be easier to use, and don't forget about what can go hacked by the hackers.
All right, TP-Link's new bold adventure into the smartphone market, the NEFOS, sorry. We'll talk about that when we come back with Hugo Chai, TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director, Market Talk. We'll be right back. You're back on Market Talk with me, Luqman Haris. I've been speaking to TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director Hugo Chai. Now, Hugo, last year TP-Link took a bold step to enter into the fierce and competitive world of smartphones with its smartphone, the NEFOS. So, what had persuaded you to jump into this super competitive world of smartphones, being originally a manufacturer of routers and modems?
Okay, actually, we all know that the smartphone business is a very, very competitive business. But based on our vision, we must bring the whole ecosystem to our end users' house, because we want to provide a more better service and a more user-friendly experience. So based on this part, we need to enhance the smartphone business, because this is entrance for the smart home. Even though it's a quite competitive business, so but we still have our what we call confidence in this part, because right now we are based on our doing business in Malaysia more than 10 years, and we are quite familiar with this market, and also we come up with the product is quite user friendly for our target audience.
Yeah. The question is you may be familiar with the Malaysian market, but critics are saying, are you familiar with the smartphone industry? Because obviously there are big players that you're going up against. Needless to say, Apple, Samsung, even Oppo, Xiaomi, Huawei. So what is setting you apart from all these other manufacturers?
Based on because of in the futures, we have the vision that the smartphone is not just a product, it must be a whole ecosystem to your house. So when you go to your house, you must have a entrance to your smart home device. So this will be our anchor point for us to enter this business.
But that would also mean that the success of the smartphone would be dependent on all your other infrastructure, or all the other products that you're offering within your smart home landscape and ecosystem. If that fails to take off, does this also mean that it will affect sales and attraction for your Nefos smartphone?
Up to date now, we see we saw the result from the markets. Even though it's quite competitive, but compared to last year's sales, we see a great incrementals for our sales, because compared to the last year's, up to date is around 9 months past. 9 months past, we get almost double of the sales for compared to that last year. So that means we saw the welcome for the Malaysians also can accept our phone, and based on this, and also we also coming next year, we have the whole ecosystem to the Malaysia's markets. So I think this is a great chance for us on this part. And besides this, our smartphone is what we call even though it's a competitive business, but our R&D is ready there. So I think in the future, we have the chance on this part.
But nevertheless, recently, globally, smartphone shipments have been on the decline and have been pressured. So do you think this momentum that you mentioned just now can be sustained?
Yeah, actually for us, from the market size, we saw the result we are quite optimistic on this part. Yeah, because in Malaysia, even though in Malaysia, so last year's sales, or even this year's sales, we are quite happy on the incrementals.
What's the sales target for Nefos phones in Malaysia this year?
This year we are targeted, it's not a big target, but it's 100K.
Are you on track to achieve that?
Yeah, I think we should.
And one of the key components of producing smartphones are semiconductors, which have proven to be a cost burden for most smartphone manufacturers. For TP-Link, how do you ensure cost effectiveness in producing more and more advanced smartphones going forward?
Actually, you know from our started business, TP-Link, the networking products. Even right now, you come out with one of the product, TP-Link product, every part of the product will be done by our TP-Link factories. That means we have this ability to produce these kinds of product. You know, when you come out with a router, they got antenna, power adapter, the design of the routers. Every part is done by TP-Link. So based on this experience, we are quite. Even though we need to learn a new business, but we are quite confident on this kinds of business because it's all electronic products.
Any plans to venture into making things like tabs?
Oh no, at this moment no. But we will focus on the smart home ecosystem because right now the IoT is quite familiar, quite popular in Malaysia. So I think the next step, mostly our will focus on these three things. First, faster internet. Second, IoT product. The entrance of the IoT will be the handphone.
All right, we'll come back with Hugo Chai, TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director. Market Talk. We'll be right back. You're watching Market Talk with me, Lukman Haris. I've been speaking to Hugo Chai, TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director. And Hugo, before the break, we have been talking about Internet of Things, IoT, and how TP-Link is greatly focusing on this going forward, at least in this country, if not globally. But the doubters out there would say, including myself, that IoT adoption in Malaysia has been sluggish. How confident are you that this trend will actually catch on in Malaysia, if at all?
Because firstly, the Malaysian government will want to focus on the smart nations in Malaysia. So some of our partners also we are working together, not only on the faster internet, we also provide a user experience on IoT. Right now we are trying on some of the what we call end user house. But coming on IoT, when you're going home, your aircon is not open. It's quite hot in your house, right? So the smart home you can easily, or you can, when you almost reach your home, almost arrive in your home, so you can turn off the aircon first, or turn on the lights first. Yeah, when you go out, you want to see your baby, okay, you can see your phone to see your baby. The smart home will give you a totally different user experience in the future home.
But this will open up a whole new array of potential security threats, because we used to worry about hackers breaching our computers, and then our computers and phones, and now our computers and phones and air conditioners and fridges and cars and what have you. So what are you doing to address this issue?
Yeah, we will, like we say, we have one of the gateway. The gateway is right now we are doing is RGs. They can control every part of your home device. So we will make the protection on the RGs to make your home is safe from the hackers. So the RG will be quite important on this part. So right now our latest RG will come with the protection on this. So you don't need to worry about the hacker anymore on this part.
In Malaysia, the rising cost of living has always been the worry amongst Malaysians. So how confident are you that in this economic climate, that's not just affecting Malaysia but the whole world, a very challenging economy where people are afraid to spend, in this particular climate, things which are looked at not as necessities but bonuses, things like a smart home, a smart fridge and things like that. How confident are you that sales will be good and people will want to buy these things?
Yeah, okay. Coming for because all the whole products is produced by TP-Link, so we can easily control the cost. So we will give you the user friendly products with reasonable price. So this one I think is quite attractive on the Malaysian market.
So it's interesting if you zoom out and look at this approach as a whole, you being a router and a modem producer, so to say, or manufacturer, is taking this pivot, as I say, to Internet of Things, to smart homes. So we're seeing a lot of tech companies do this as well. How important is this, especially for tech companies, to continue adapting to the fast-changing digital world, to make sure that they don't end up like the Kodaks and the Nokias of the world?
Okay, because we have the vision, we must providing some more user-friendly products. Not only user-friendly, but it's what I call the user to give a new adventure for the user in the house, even in the house.
Yeah, I understand that, but the point is, you as a company, this whole pivot from your legacy and old businesses to new businesses, does it come at a cost, whether monetary cost or whether there are redundant employees being made redundant because of outdated skills and things like that? Does TP-Link face this in its pivot towards new industries and new businesses?
So this is for the new business is quite hard for us at the beginning, but we need to make ourselves on all TP-Links in Malaysia. We have a big team here. We need to adapt this business step So we also try to learn on this part to how to give a more user-friendly product to the Malaysian markets. Because in Malaysia we have maybe have different hobbies or use different users in Malaysia, different country of the people, they will use different products. But for Malaysia, we need to learn deep in these markets, and then we provided a better service in this market.
What's your headcount or staff strength here in Malaysia?
Right now, we have around 18 plus per
Any
people.
plans to expand this and of course include locals, give jobs to locals?
Yeah, we will continue to invest in the local Malaysian markets.
But besides giving back, generating jobs, companies always look to contribute to the local economy of whatever country that they are in. Here in Malaysia, to provide high-speed internet connection for all Malaysians is a very important priority for the government.
Yeah.
So we are now seeing the provision of high-speed internet access in urban areas being done very well. But the challenge is to ensure that the provision of such services is equal and balanced amongst the rural areas as well. So what's your role in this to support the government to ensure that top-notch Wi-Fi or internet infrastructure is also available not just in KL, but the mountains of Sabah or places like that?
Actually, we have a different solution for the different area. Like in Kelantan or in the East Coast area, we also working together with some of the telco here to give the better, faster internet there in that place. But that one is not based on what call a lot of infrastructure in that part. But we will offer some of the choice for them to working together to give a better service in this rural area.
What's next for TP-Link? You went from being a router manufacturer to a champion of IoT, Internet of Things, and also smart homes. So are you also looking at venturing into uncharted territories like, being your own telco, since you already have so many communications infrastructure? What's next?
Actually, in Malaysia, we have a vision here. We have 4 business here. Firstly, we want to working with our telco partners to give a better service on the faster internet. This is a basic one we want to working, and this exactly the job we are doing right now.
Any plans to be your own telco?
Oh no, at this moment we want to give a better service on this part only.
And an interesting video on your website said that what's next for TP-Link may be to even go to places like Mars, like some companies, tech companies like SpaceX is doing. So any comments on this?
Actually, so what's the next for the? Firstly, we will firstly, we want to provide this better user-friendly device to all our audience first. This is our first step. We want to thank you for them on the supporting TP-Link for this past 10 years in Malaysia. So this is the first step. And based on this part, we will continually to stretch us, force us to push us to learn a new business. In the future, we want to give a better service in the local Malaysian markets.
From your point of view and from your perspective, what makes Malaysia more appealing than other Southeast Asian nations and Southeast Asian markets?
Yeah, because our Malaysian people is quite open on the new product. So this is a very, very good, what you call very good custom, very good hobbies to the new things. So Malaysian market is quite important for us. So we made Malaysia will be the first country to launch our new phones. So we want to let the people know that, or providing a better service to the Malaysian market to let the whole world know this. We are doing a good job in Malaysia.
So all said and done, what can the Malaysian consumer expect from TP-Link moving forward?
Moving forward, I think first step we will let all the Malaysian people to experience a faster internet. This is a first step, because a faster internet is quite important for the life here in Malaysia. The second step, we want to bring the whole ecosystem to all their home. So let them to feel the next generation on the Wi-Fi and the next generation of IoT product.
Right. Thank you so much, Hugo Chai, TP-Link Malaysia Distribution Director. And that's it for this episode of Market Talk. What do you think of the conversation? Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 501 Awani and give us your feedback there. And also download our app, as you can see, available on the Google Play Store and also the Apple App Store. And listen to this interview on your podcast. Simply search for Market Talk or Asra Awani wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Lukman Haris. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.